All right, so we have been doing a lot with multiplying fractions. Can somebody tell me, just fractions, not mixed numbers, can somebody tell me how we multiply fractions?
We multiply the numerators and the denominators.
Put an X in it.
Yep, exactly. You multiply the numerators going across, then you multiply the denominators going across, and that gives you your answer. That's it, multiply, multiply. How about multiplying mixed numbers? How does that change the process?
First, you need
Some
to
fractions greater than 1. A fraction greater than 1.
Yes. If we're multiplying mixed numbers, we have to change it to a fraction greater than 1 first. And then once we've done that, we multiply our numerators, multiply our denominators, and then we can change it back to that mixed number at the end, okay? So we're gonna move on a little bit from there. I'll see if you guys can figure out what our new thing is that we're gonna be doing as we start working through this page. In case you didn't eat breakfast, we're gonna make you a little hungry here with our paper Eggo waffles. Because there are 4 people in the Walton family, but there are only 3 waffles. How can the Waltons share the waffles equally? In my house, the boys would probably each take waffles and not share with anybody. They would share the 3 between themselves. But let's see how the Waltons, a nice civilized family, can do this. So they're gonna divide each of the waffles into 4 pieces. Why are they dividing them into 4 pieces?
so that everyone can get a piece.
Because there's 4 people in the family, right? There's 4 people in the family, so they're gonna divide each waffle into 4 pieces. And therefore, each person gets 1/4 of each waffle. So my share of this waffle would be 1/4, my share of this waffle would be 1/4, and my share of this waffle would be 1/4. I get 1/4 of each waffle. And since there are 3 waffles, each person gets 3 of the fourths. And what do we know that of means?
Multiply.
Of means multiply. So 3 times 1/4 is 3/4. Does this picture show that I have 3/4?
Yes.
Yeah. Or 3/4 of a whole waffle, right? I end up with 3/4 of a whole waffle because I have 3 pieces. So really the math that we did is we took our 3 waffles and we divided them by 4 because we have 4 people. And here's one of those parts that's going to start blowing your mind because you've always been told, oh, when you divide, the bigger number comes first. It should be 4 divided by 3. Not anymore. You're growing up. Sometimes now, the smaller number is going to come first. And so if, just to show you guys, if I were to write my little fraction house, this would be 3 divided by 4. What? We don't put that small number inside the house. You do now. But think about what we did to solve it. We turned this division problem into a multiplication problem, didn't we? We turned 3 divided by 4 into 3 times 1/4 because we got 1/4 of each one of those waffles, which gave us 3/4. Okay. Yeah, Gabby, go ahead and leave and try rejoining. So let's change it up, and we're gonna. They might be like, what is she even talking about? Waffles, 4 people, 1/4 pieces, 3 I don't know. Let's keep going. Let's pretend there are 5 people and 4 waffles. I'm gonna draw out my 4 waffles. Here's my 4 waffles, but now I have 5 people. What share of each waffle does each person get? How many pieces would I have to cut one waffle into to make sure each of those 5 people got a piece of that waffle?
5.
Half.
5, right? I have to cut this piece of waffle. I have to cut this waffle into 5 pieces if I want everybody to have a piece of this waffle, because there are 5. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna make waffle sticks instead. So each person would get 1/5 of this waffle. How much would each person get of this waffle?
1/5.
1/5. How about this waffle?
1/5.
Fifth.
How about this waffle?
1/5.
1/5.
1/5. I get 1/5 of each one of those waffles. So what is each person's share of the 4 waffles? If I get this 5th and this 5th and this 5th
4/5.
and this 5th, I now have 4/5 of a waffle. Because I got 1/5 of each of those 4 waffles. So when we're looking about this mathematically, we have 4 divided by 5, which is really the same as 4, right? Because I still have my 4 people. 4 times what fraction of each waffle did a person get?
1/5.
Each person, you got 1/5 of a waffle. What's 4 times 1/5?
4/5.
4/5. Let's try it again. Suppose, I'm not going to draw this out because this will be a lot of waffles and a lot of people. But we now have 10 people and there are only 7 waffles. So what is each person's share of 1 waffle? I've got 10 people. If I want everybody to have a bite of that waffle.
10.
10 pieces.
So what's my fraction?
1/10.
1/10.
1/10.
1/10 of that waffle. But guess what? I don't just have 1 waffle. I have 7 waffles.
7/10.
So I'm going to get 7/10 of a waffle when I look at the whole thing. So now my equation is 7 divided by 10, which is the same as equal to 7 times
1/10.
1/10, which equals
7/10.
7/10. Can anybody kind of generalize? We talked about this words a couple days ago. Generalize what's going on here when we're doing this division. What are you guys noticing in our patterns here?
There's waffles.
Well, okay, yes, there are waffles, but not just talking about the food side of it, our numbers. When you look at our numbers, what do you notice kind of what's happening each time?
No matter
Or multiply.
what number, you always have to cut it into however many people there are.
Okay.
Cut it into 10.
Aren't we changing division problems into multiplication problems?
Yes, we are changing our division to multiplication. What else are we doing in order to change it to multiplication?
It up in pieces.
Let's look at this. Okay, so we start with a 3 here, right? And our 3 is still part of our multiplication problem. So that first digit stays the same. Okay, and then we take our division sign and we change it to multiplication. So same, and then we change, and then what did we do with our 4 here?
We make it a unit fraction.
Okay, correct, but I'm gonna change the way you said that because yes, we did make it a unit fraction, but we're gonna get to fractions that aren't always unit fractions. How would I write just 4 as a fraction? It would be 4 over 1, right?
Yep.
So what did I do to make it 1/4?
You flip-flopped it.
I flipped it. I flip-flopped it. Same, change, flip. Okay, my 3's stayed the same. I changed my division to multiplication and I flipped my 4. So no longer is it 4, it's now 1/4. You guys see that?
Yep.
Let's look at this next one. Okay. Whoop. Oh, school district calling. We're back in school. So, Mary's school, sorry. So over here, I've got my 4 on this one. 4 and a 4. That stayed the same, didn't it? And then my division became multiplication. So I changed my operation. And then my 5, which is really the same as 5 over 1, became 1/5. So I flipped. Same, change, flip. Okay. Let's come down here to this one. My 7s stayed the same. I've got 7s on both sides. My division changed to multiplication. And then my second number, or my fraction there, I flipped. My 10 over 1 became 1/10. Same, change, flip. And you might think, does this really work for all numbers? Let's look at it this way. Let's do one that we know. You guys know the answer to this. You know what 4 divided by 2 is, right? What's 4 divided by 2? 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. You guys know that. Let's see if we can use this same change flip on this. So my 4 is going to stay the same. I'm going to change my division to multiplication. And I'm going to flip my 2. When I flip my 2, what does it become?
A half.
It becomes 1/2, right? Because 2 is the same as 2 over 1. So what do I get if I multiply 4 times 1/2?
4
I get 4 halves. Does 4 halves equal 2?
Yes.
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 Look at that. Same, change, flip. It worked on the division we've been doing all along too. Okay. All right, let's look at these. They want us just to complete these, change them into multiplication problems. So my 5, what's going to happen with my 5?
Same.
Same. My 5 stays as 5. I already changed my division to multiplication. What am I going to do with my 6?
Flip it.
Flip. So what's it going to become?
1/6.
1/6.
1/6. Same, change, flip. What's 5 times 1/6?
5, 6.
5/6. You got it. So 5 divided by 6 is 5/6. How about 4 divided by 9? What happens with my 4?
Same.
Same.
I already changed my division to multiplication. What does my 9 become?
Flip. 1/9.
1/9. Yep. And so what's my answer going to be? What's 4 times 1/9?
4/9.
4/9.
You got it. Yep. So how can you divide 7 waffles equally among 8 people? Well, that's what we did up here, right? We're going to divide each waffle into 8 pieces and make sure each person gets 1/8 of each waffle. How can you divide 39 waffles among 5 plates? You're going to divide the 39 waffles by the 5 plates. Okay. And then this is showing us that, again, with the letters instead of the numbers, N stays the same. We change our division to multiplication. And D, our whole number becomes that unit fraction. We flipped it. And since it has a 1 underneath it here, the 1 is now on top. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh my goodness, this is a long lesson. So, how many 1/8 are in 1?
8.
8.
Yes, but they want us to write a division equation to show this. So to write my division equation, I would say 1 divided by 1/8, because I want to know how many 1/8 are in that 1. Let's follow our same theory here of our same change flip. So my 1 stays the same. I change my division to multiplication, and I flip my 1/8. What do I get when I flip 1/8?
8 over 1.
I can just put 8, right? What's 1 times 8?
8.
8.
8. Isn't that what you guys said? There are 8 1/8 in 1?
Yes.
Yeah. How many 1/8 are there in 3? Well, I start with my 3, and I'm going to divide it to see how many 8s are in it. which means I'm going to have my same. I'm going to change my division to multiplication. And I'm going to flip my 8 over 1, and it's going to just be an 8. What's 3 times 8?
24.
24.
24.
I know, not 20.
Now, here's something to think about. You guys are used to, when you divide a number, your answer gets smaller, right? Are you guys kind of used to that? Like when you're dividing something, it gets smaller because you're dividing it into pieces. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But look at, my answer's 24. It's 24. That's because I'm dividing it by something less than 1. I'm dividing it by a fraction of a whole. So something really tiny is what I'm dividing it by. So I'm gonna have more pieces. If I took 3 cookies and I wanted to divide each cookie into 1/8 size pieces, or each cookie into 8 pieces, I'm gonna have a lot more than 3 pieces of cookie left, okay? So I end up with a bigger answer because I'm dividing it by something smaller than 1. Sounds kind of funny, I know. Okay. All right, this is what we just did. How about this one? How many 1/4 are there in 5? What's my division equation gonna look like?
Five divided by 1/4.
You got it. 5 divided by 1/4, because 5 is my whole, and I want to know how many fourths are in that 5. Same, 5 stays the same. Change, division to multiplication, flip. 1/4 becomes 4.
4.
My answer is 20. There are 20 fourths in 5. So if I counted up all of these little pieces, I would come up with 20 pieces. Okay. Complete the equation. W and D are whole numbers. D is not 0. So W divided by 1 over D is the same as W times D, right? Same, change, flip. Okay. How are we doing?
Good.
All right. Write a division equation, then solve. Olivia made 9 sandwiches and cut each one into fourths. How many fourths does she have? So 9 is her whole. She made 9 of them. And she divided each sandwich into 1/4 size pieces. I need to change my division to multiplication. Same, my 9 stays the same. Oops, sorry, this was supposed to be a division here. Same, change, you got it, Camden.
Flip.
Change, flip, 1/4 becomes 4. She has 36 fourths, or 36 pieces of sandwich. Okay. 10 members of a hiking club will walk, yeah, go for it, Jackson. We'll walk 9 miles. Each person will carry the food pack for an equal distance. How far will each person carry the food pack? So we have 10 members and they're walking 9 miles. 9 miles is our whole amount that we have. So that's going to be our first. Really, this is the trickiest part of this whole thing, is figuring out which number comes first when I'm writing my equation. But 9 is my whole amount that I need to divide by my 10 people who are walking that distance, who are each going to take a turn carrying the food pack. So 9 divided by 10 is the same as same, change, flip. What's my 10 going to become?
1/10.
1/10.
1/10. What's 9 times 1/10?
9/10.
9/10 of a mile. Does that answer make sense?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Let's say, let's just, for pretend here, let's say I messed this up and I set it up differently. And I said, okay, it's 10 divided by 9, which is 10 times 1/9, which is 10/9, which is each person is going to carry it 1 1/9 mile. Would that answer be reasonable?
No.
No,
No. Does anybody who
No.
said no want to share why they said no?
because there's 10 members, and if each of them walk over a mile, and there's only 9 miles, so that means they would have to walk 10 or more miles.
Landon, you're brilliant. That's exactly right. We only have 9 miles total to walk. So if I have 10 people and each of those 10 people is carrying it over a mile, I'm going to walk more than 9 miles. Uh-oh, light bulb should be going off. You did something wrong. You did something wrong. Go back and look. But the go back and look is the part that 5th graders have troubles with. Damon has a 6-pound bag of cat food. He feeds his cat 1/8 pound every day. How many days will the bag last? What number am I going to put first?
6.
6. Yes, that's my whole. I have this whole big bag of cat food. 6 divided by 1/8, because I want to know how many 1/8 scoops I can get out of that 6-pound bag. Same, my 6 stays the same. Change, my division becomes multiplication. And I flip, 1/8 becomes 8. What's 6 times 48? What's 6 times 8?
48.
48.
48 days. She can feed that kitty cat for 48 days. Unless he's a monster like my cat and eats a hole in the bag and spills it all over the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. All right. Jody and 7 friends. So how many people do we have?
7.
7 friends.
8.
8 people.
Right? Because we have Jody and
Yeah.
friends. Don't forget Jody. They share 12 oranges equally. How many oranges does each person get? Give your answer as a mixed number. What's my first number going to be that I write down?
8.
8.
Let's think about this here.
Oh,
The first number that you write down is the number that you're going to be dividing. I hope we're not dividing 8 people up. That could get kind of messy. We don't want to divide people.
Oh, 12.
We want to divide the 12 oranges, right? We want to divide our 12 oranges by 8 people. This looks more like the math we're used to, right?
Yep.
Because the bigger numbers first. Okay. That's going to be the same as same, change, flip. Multiply it out. I get 12, 8. How many times can 8 go into 12?
1.
1 time.
1
4.
time. 1 and 3.
Or 1.5, right? Because 4/8 is
Yeah.
half.
Yeah.
1 4/2 or 1.5 oranges. Guess what? You think we're done. Bam! We're not done. So it's just more of the same. This is kind of like a puzzled penguin. Skip all of this big long essay here. This is a lot of reading to do for math. It's kind of like a puzzled penguin where, you know, Tommy's saying one thing, then Lucy says this. So we're gonna just keep going and do these practices down here. I want you guys to solve 17, 18, 19, 20 on your own. Okay, they've started it for you, right? We've got our division. They've already done the same. They've already done the change. You have to do the flip and then the multiply. Okay, so solve those real quick for me. Thanks for volunteering to read, but we're just going to skip all that top part and just move down to 17 to 20. All right. Here we go. If you weren't able to get them because you were confused or if you didn't finish them, that's okay. I'm going to talk through these. So my first numbers stay the same. I change my division to multiplication. And I flip my 3 because 3 is over 1. So when I flip it, it becomes 1/3. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. I get 1/6. For number 18, my 1/5 stays the same. I change my division to multiplication, and I flip my 2, so it becomes 1/2. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 2 is 10. 1/3 divided by 4, my 1/3 stays the same. I change my division to multiplication, and I flip my 4, so it becomes 1/4. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 4 is 12. 1/6 divided by 4, my 1/6 stays the same. Division becomes multiplication. My 4 becomes 1/4. I flip it, same change, flip. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 times 4 is 24. How we do?
All of them right.
All of them right.
All of them right.
Of course, you guys
All of them
all got them all right. Oh, all right. Let's take a look at our math homework page. We're going to skip page 94 on there for now. Okay. Here we go. On page 65, I'm just going to have you guys do the odds. So page 65 is odds. Page 66, the back side, you're just going to do the evens. Okay. So odds on 65, evens on 66. Let me grab my planner. Math, homework, and remembering. Page 65 is odds. Page 66 is evens. Okay, I want you to stay on and work. You guys have about 17 minutes. I will open up breakout rooms for anyone who would like to.